And we're back at the NVIDIA Expert Desk for ESL One Cologne 2015. One match left for day one, ladies and gentlemen. We have 3 teams already confirmed for the playoffs starting on Saturday at the Lanxess Arena. That's TSM from Group A, EnVyUs from Group B, Virtus.pro from Group D, and now we're awaiting the winner's match of Group C. It will be Na'Vi versus Fnatic. Anders, what do you think about this matchup going forward?
Well, both these teams play Cobblestone, so I have really high hopes.
I was gonna kick you off. Like.
Wow, yeah. You know, I was a little scared. I was like, surely not another one.
The best is he's like, no, let me leave this.
There are no limits, Chopra.
Let's just keep going. Yeah. Well, I think many people probably can't blame you for that, so we'll just let you stay on the desk for today. We'll figure this out.
Trust me, I have an army of people, and if we all come together and really believe they will pick Cobblestone, just trust in this.
All right.
It's a random, pick, right?
Yeah. Well, so far that's what
How much have you paid them, Anders?
Fnatic and Na'Vi. Just if you guys missed those matches here on the A stream, if you're watching the B stream so far, or maybe you're just waking up or something like that, getting out of work, Fnatic took down Team eBattle in absolutely convincing fashion, 16-2, and the scores really do speak for themselves this time around. But then Na'Vi versus Titan, a bit of a real run for their money from Titan. I mean, they really pushed them back, trying to take it to overtime, and they did, but Titan wasn't able to close it out. Na'Vi still comes forward, takes the win that originally people thought they would after the first half. So let's start there. Sumler, Na'Vi then, I mean, do you think that was more Na'Vi's kind of weaknesses showing, or was it Titan just going on fire? And like you guys mentioned,
It's definitely a combination of the two. But like it's big plays from Titan, and you have plays from Shoxy 1v3, RPK 1v3. You have these plays that shouldn't really happen, but that you do have that talent on Titan where if you give them the opportunity or they feel like they can make it, they're just going to go and do that, right? But Na'Vi also made quite a few mistakes in that match to let Titan back into it. It's once we got into overtime, which is usually what happens, right? Where the favored team, the team that we all expected to go through, they kind of get like this mental reset where, okay, whatever was happening in regular time, that all goes away in overtime, and they just kind of lock things down. And that's kind of what happened in the Titan overtime versus Na'Vi, where Na'Vi just proceeded to just end the game.
I think Titan managed to show us a really good example of what happens when you win a few select rounds, but in the rounds previous to that one round you win, you do almost no damage, which means you'll never force that eco. They won the 4th round after having lost 3 in a row, and they didn't do enough damage those rounds to really force the eco. So Na'Vi kept being able to buy and buy and buy, and they just won like scattered rounds. If they had played some of those ecos a little bit better, or just generally clustered their rounds more, Titan would have got so much more out of that first half in regulation. So yeah, I think there are a lot of opportunities. They would spread themselves too thinly.
Right. Now, of course, Guardian also admitted in the interview, we made a couple mistakes too, and we probably should have closed the first half a little bit even more advantageously. It did end up being 11-4, still not a bad score. But previously when we talked about Fnatic, they were up against eBattle Moses, and we were all like, well, it's really hard to put it into perspective because, I mean, really, if you were to be just honest, Fnatic is an absolute titan against eBattle, right? And it's just this giant that you're not going to be able to topple. What about in this case, though? Do we have a little bit more of a realistic view of where Fnatic stands if we're putting them up against a team like Na'Vi?
I mean, this is like one of those. This is like a headed matchup of two like the best teams, like the top 3 teams in the world. Like this is and this Na'Vi's a team that, when we were discussing Na'Vi in the last matchup they played against Titan, we pretty much went through their whole roster and like these guys can all go beast mode. They're another lineup like Fnatic has those 4 players who can always step it up and be the best player in the world at any time. I mean, Na'Vi's got a really deep and talented roster as well. They can match up player to player across the board.
Yeah, there's one player in particular. It just happens to be on your screen right there.
Who is that?
I've heard he's all right. I heard he's could make the best in the world or something like that, right?
That's pretty good.
All right.
Why don't you like Freedom, Sumler?
Because I'm French, bro. We don't believe.
No. So it sounds like
on strike.
Freedom's on strike. Well, good to know.
There you go.
I mean, that's fair, right? I mean, if something else is going to go straight, might as well have Freedom go there too. But it sounds like perhaps we'll see a little bit more of a human side of Fnatic, whereas against eBattle, that's the team that people talk about after tournaments, after Fnatic wins. They're like, yeah, well, Fnatic absolutely the best, unbeatable. Maybe we'll see a little bit of a different angle with Na'Vi putting up a better fight than eBattle did.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
And as you guys, if you want to chime in for sure, Anders.
I was going to say there's also like I don't want to say it's like a clash of styles, but the way that Fnatic like to play, which is like very bold, very aggressive. They like to take a lot of the map. They like to be, aggressive on like individually. Na'Vi love that. They play slow on the terrorist side. If they can wait around for Fnatic to peek in on them and get those opening frags. That's all that they want all day long. So Fnatic know this and probably have like lots of experience in countering it. But you know, if they like you said, they just had like complete stop against eBattle, maybe they're going to come into this match thinking, let's just roll over, and that would be a mistake.
Right, and that was actually going to be my question is, I mean, you guys already mentioned individual skill level-wise, any player out of the two teams can go, you know, just absolutely on fire, and they could really take it for either team. But then at that point, strategically, where do they match up? Anders giving us a little bit of a preview on how that might play out. Similar, what's your take on that?
Well, I mean, I think Olaf Meister is the only man to hold like a 4-point-something rating in that first eBattle match.
That was
like
dirty.
pretty disgusting, actually, in a major match. And I still put him up there as probably as the best player in the world. So that's kind of what Na'Vi have to contend with. They have to deal with Olaf Meister, but then they have to deal with Crims, and they have to deal with JW and Flusha, and then even Pronax. You know, so it's just like it's kind of tough to believe that Na'Vi are going to be able to like walk through this and make it a very convincing win. This is going to be a scrappy fight. They can actually, Fnatic are not going to get anywhere near the easy fight that they got versus eBattle. But I think I have to pretty clearly put Fnatic ahead of Na'Vi right now.
Yeah, still in favor.
I mean, well, here's the cool thing too is Anders brought up a good point with how passive that Na'Vi plays. It's designed to punish those early aggressions that Fnatic likes to do. But Fnatic's also one of the best teams in the world at playing with a man down situation.
Yes, absolutely. Because of JW, they're built around this guy just kind of like YOLOing in and dying somewhere. And then there's the other four are so solid that they'll just bring it back from that situation.
You guys are literally talking on top of the potential overpass pick. I'm just saying.
Potential.
Potential over. Yeah, I got picked for a ban.
It did.
I meant Cobblestone. Obviously.
Right.
Obviously.
Well, hold on. Let's see. Na'Vi, what do they got?
They're not going to ban
Fnatic
Cobblestone.
have shown that they're mortal on Cobblestone, so I don't know if that would be like the go-to pick for them.
I guess Fnatic will produce their second ban on Mirage. I think that would make some amount of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Na'Vi might try and ban out Dust 2 again, just because they don't, for some reason.
No, they're gonna ban Cash. I mean,
yeah,
let's just start there.
True.
All right, well,
I would love it if Na'Vi just grinded out Cash.
I do,
at one
however,
point,
think-
and then they just didn't ban it in a really important match and just.
I feel like Na'Vi feel quite comfortable playing Inferno against almost any team, though.
Yeah.
And they have a really solid Inferno. So
I don't think
they
we've
should.
seen Inferno today, have we?
Nope.
Nope.
Not that I know of. Did we see it in front of us?
well, not on our stream, right? So possibly on.
I don't remember casting an Inferno today.
Possibly on
It's just serious time here.
Yeah, wow. Na'Vi are really taking their time on this one.
Yeah.
Oh, it's because it's Guardian. He's just making him sweat. He's like, hey, guys, watch this. You know, just gonna sit there as long as possible.
We're back to the 1.6 Na'Vi that shows up like an hour late for every game and just doesn't care.
Well, taking their time here for the very first veto. So it looks like, I mean, they're definitely running through a lot of their options. You guys,
If this was
could have laid out.
Skadoodle vetoing, he would already had it on lock. Just want you to know he's swifter.
Oh,
Oh, we've
wow.
already gone through. All right. Well, Fnatic came in just absolutely prepared with what they
train.
wanted.
I like how they kept us waiting so long for Cash as well.
It's,
There
you go,
Inferno.
lad. There you go.
It's a beautiful thing, really.
That is huge.
Wow.
I love this, and so here's the weird thing: Na'Vi are a terrifying team on this map, in spite of the fact that, in my opinion, they're one of the worst teams at saving their smokes, which is what every other team that's good on Inferno is really good at, like Envy, Fnatic. TSM, they get a lot of their effect from the CT side, the B-bomb side. They save smokes and Molotovs forever and ever, and you never get to push through. So you either run through smoke or a Molotov, or you go A instead, and that's how they outplay you, essentially, just because how the map works. Na'Vi, they're terrible at that, but they're really, really good at playing the terrorist side. They're a really fun team to watch on this game, on this particular map.
Well, the cool thing too with Fnatic is with all the players that they have that just love to just win duels, like JW and Olaf. You know, they don't. And Crims is just a master of B, but they don't have to use those smokes to block off the choke points. They're very, very comfortable taking those fights in those choke points early on, and then they just have so much more for the executions in the later stages of the round. So, I mean, that's part of the reason their CT side defense is just so successful.
Well, it sounds like it could be one of the most heated matches we have on day one. The very last match of today to determine the fourth team to secure their spot in the playoffs. It's going to be who's going to be the winner of Group C between Fnatic and Na'Vi. And the winner's match, we'll get right into the game with our commentators over at the casting desk.
Thank you very much, Cho Bros. I am Lee D-Man Smith, and joining me once again is Fifth Lounge for this final match of the night, and it should be an absolute belter. Now, big bit of history between these two guys. The first thing is the fact that Fnatic beat Na'Vi every single time they play them. So we're hoping that doesn't stand true, because Na'Vi, well, they've looked better the last few months.
They have, for sure, but then again, Fnatic has always looked good, almost. So it's gonna be a rough match. I do like the map though that we ended up getting, which is Inferno. Haven't seen it so far in the tournament. Navi, they're a great Inferno team, and also so is Fnatic. So I think out of all the maps we had left, this was by far probably the best one we could have gotten.
Yeah, I jinxed myself as well. 'Cause
Yeah, you did.
We were like, we've never had that. I was like, I'm glad. It's a really slow map to cast, and it is. I mean, that's just part of the map. It's a very closed map, very tricky to really make pushes on and go aggressive, unless you like Tech9s, in case you're just going to push through the smoke.
Yeah, and for Navi's part, I think this is the map that they run out of time the most with. They always run out of time with this one. They either, if they don't get the entries when they play it slow, they would just end up running out of time. So we are in for probably, quite possibly, one of the longer games of the day.
A slow, long game. Well,
yeah.
What better teams to have it between than two of the best teams in the world? Fnatic, arguably the best team in the world. They've got 2 majors under the belt, so you just can't deny that. And Na'Vi pushed their way probably into the top 3 over the last couple of months. What do we take from what we saw earlier against Titan? Titan clearly much improved on the new overpass, it seems, for them. Na'Vi, it was their best map. It is their best map. They're now 15-6 on that map. So clearly it was the reason that we saw Fnatic banning it out in their first choice. But what do we make of Na'Vi coming into this?
I just overall, all of their players seem to be on point. As we saw during the frag discrepancy, there was like 2 frags dividing the top fragger and the bottom fragger of that team. So they all seem to be very much on point. Even though they were, went into overtime versus Titan, Titan also had some incredible individual play coming in. So not too much to say about that. But it's looking good for Na'Vi. Again, I'm glad to see that Garden is in form. Flamey also showed up that game. And it's the 2 heavy hitters that Na'Vi needs to even have a chance versus Fnatic here.
We should mention that Fnatic, of course, because they had the choice, I believe they chose the side, which means they do start out on the CT side, not starting yet, because as you see, JW's health just disappeared. So I'm pretty sure we're not starting yet. I'm pretty sure they're going to have a round restart, as we see JW stood still going, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But
yeah, which is quite weird, because they did buy the nades and stuff, so...
Yeah, because it looked like they were planning it, and then I think they've just gone for a restart. But talking about JW, this is kind of the map that he's famed for, going crazy aggressive where that AWP in apartments.
Yeah.
We haven't seen it too often from him lately, and we haven't seen him setting the world apart because basically all his teammates have stepped up as well. What do we take from the likes of JW lately?
I mean, the thing is, when he first started doing his shenanigans overall, people had a very hard time to counter that. Nowadays, people know
it almost.
Yeah, they know that the 2 places that he likes to push, which is apartments, and it's also standing in boiler with the mag 7, for example, right? They know that, so then they're ready for it, and then it becomes extremely hard for JW to actually, get something out of it. So then, in reality, then it's better to perhaps maybe not do it as often, maybe once or twice every game, instead of doing it 6 or 7 rounds every day, right? And especially versus a team like Na'Vi, there's no point in pushing versus Na'Vi because they always play so slow. So like, unless you have a really good spawn with the AWP and you want to push and get the initial pick, that's fair enough. But if you're low buying and you buy a mag 7 and you decide to push, you're probably not going to have a good time because you won't actually see anyone.
Yeah, and of course, we shouldn't forget also the banana defense as well. It's something every team kind of plays differently themselves. They all have their own little style. What are we expecting from Fnatic this time around? It's going to be that it used to be. It wasn't the Olaf Krims combo, was it? That used to go there. I think Flush used to head over the way.
Yeah, I mean, but nowadays Krims known for his very solid B play on Inferno.
Reliable.
Right? Yeah, very reliable. At least getting 2 every single time, and just extremely solid on that bomb site. You will probably see a little bit of aggressive play as well coming in. JW might have a good spawn with the AWP. They do like to have 3 guys on the pistol round on the B bomb site, like to push. We tend to see Pronax there sometimes as well. So, but Fnatic overall, they have a very flexible C design on this map, and you never really know where you might see the respective players. Obviously, Krims will always almost be stationed at B, but Pronax, JW, and Olaf, they tend to rotate quite a bit. So,
getting confused because I can't find the match myself. You're in it though, so it's all good.
Yeah,
I'm going to keep my eye on your screen instead. But we can see Fnatic on the screen there. Can they make it 3 majors? That is the big question on everybody's minds. They were the first to make it 2, but 3 is possible for them. They are by far the favourites coming into this game.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, the way that they've been playing, just basing off of their preparation coming into this tournament, as I was saying prior to the past game, that they haven't boot camped. That's completely fine. They have been spending most of their time just trying to play individually, just trying to get in shape themselves, with the addition of a few more newly thought out rounds from Pronax, and he just goes in and says, guys, let's do this.
And we talked about that boot camp issue earlier on. Obviously, we were talking about how the internet, basically the speeds the internet has helps things out. Looks like we are going to be going live, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. It is the final map of the night. It is, of course, Fnatic versus Na'Vi, and immediately Edward, the Pistol King, manages to find the first shot straight out to Olofmeister, putting pressure onto B site immediately, but it is double stacked out. JW getting a glimpse towards Guardian in pit, will find his head as well, and that nade could do a decent amount of damage. No armor, remember. I was about to say that, but it was Zeus that hit. I was expecting C's to be the man that would get tagged out, but instead, it is going to be, once again, a little pick back and forward. 1 kill apiece, B site stacked out.
Yeah, they do have the nades for it, so we'll see a B push here coming from Na'Vi.
Crims on Spores, gets himself up the smoke. Above it, they're not really checking the angle, but he doesn't manage to get the kill, but he buys the time for flusha to get himself a double and a triple. Can he make it 4? Has to go for the reload, but he buys enough time. Sees the man with the bomb. JW and Pronax both coming from Banana, already slowing things down, and seized in a real tricky situation. They know that he's tucked in the corner. They only have 3 boxes really to check. They know he can't possibly have headed towards construction as he creeps his way around. Pronax just waiting in barbecue. JW holding the angle. Seized will go down. And it's all really the damage that was done by flusha.
Yeah, and you saw the tendencies there again for Fnatic on their pistol round. They do like to just have 3 guys stationed on to be bomb site in the beginning, just in case of a rush. Olofmeister ended up going down, but flusha played that round great. Just waiting it off. He didn't start shooting as soon as he saw the first guy. Yeah, sure, Crims ended up going down with basically no help. But when you have flusha playing, getting 3 headshots like that, then I'm fairly sure that Crims is fine with sacrificing his life for the greater good.
The sacrificial lamb. That's what I was saying. It's like flusha does have a tendency to go over there and clearly working out well. It is going to be another 5-man stack heading up Banana. Olofmeister gets a little glimpse of it, but Flamey will possibly try and lead the charge. Now, a lot of flashes in Na'Vi's hands, so expecting a quick burst from them. But Olofmeister and Crims, you can see they're set up for this. They're set up ready and waiting. Up close. Oh, JW coming around the back. This could cause them real problems. A lot of decoys going out as well, so really trying to sell the bait, but Flamey getting caught out of porch. Olofmeister pops around the corner, manages to get himself a double. flusha comes around, P90 spray down. Working wonders, and flusha another triple for him.
Yeah, and I think the Na'Vi actually missed bot there. Some of their players at least must have missed bot because they didn't have a smoke towards CT spawn. They had all the flashes, they had the Tech 9s, they had the armors, but when you do get the initial 2 frags there, you're not going to be able to cross anyway because you saw flusha that just spraying down with the P90 just because there was no smoke towards the CT spawn.
Missed by perhaps, nerves showing perhaps Na'Vi. 2-0 down, and of course with that force, it will mean they're going to go straight pistols. Now, are we going to see some no-nonsense stuff from Fnatic here? flusha's actually fairly openly pushing. JW is going to get a good look, finds himself seized. Can he make it a second? Doesn't matter. Damage done, and now flusha is going looking. Guardian just around the corner. Flamey's the man that's pushing in apartments. He will manage to find JW with the deagle, but flusha now finds the bomb carrier, and that's going to cause all manner of problems. Crims has pushed around back of him. He's managed to find Edward down in tunnels. flusha not going to close things out here. Flamey with that rescued SMG will get himself a second for the round, but Pronax, ever reliable on balcony, closes out the round. So 3-0, steady start for Fnatic after that pistol round.
Yeah, and that's something you want to do as well. You saw JW playing very aggressive with this SMG the third round, and that's something you want to keep in mind of, because it's actually really smart, because you kept it from the round before. You know that Na'Vi won't have armor, they won't have anything else, it's just a full-on eco. For him to actually start chasing, getting some extra money in his bank. Yeah, and Crims actually saved it, which I completely agree with. You see here what they're doing. They're pushing, and having that SMG at first, it doesn't really matter.
Oh, and when he gets a kill, Zeus is just going to push straight through the smoke, back into, maybe expected him to go for the reload. There's the aggressive JW we know and love in apartments. And this roll round has been just absolutely decimated, stopped in its tracks, and Na'Vi back to the drawing boards because they're going to be back to pistols after this one.
Yeah, great opening from Fnatic, just starting to push the first opening round. And I was saying that when Fnatic decided to have 3 guys pushing towards B, having Crims with the SMG there, it works completely fine.
Well, it's all right, JW. Doesn't matter. You got a second chance, and he will manage to find the head of Seized. Edward, the lone man, will manage to get a kill on Flusher, but that is all it will be. Fnatic 4-0. Rock steady performance from the current holding champions. Can they make it another? They got a long way to go. 8 games in total, apparently. It's all they need. That's just the clean run through.
Oh, to win?
Yeah, they've already made it 1. Can they make it 2? We'll see.
Quite possibly. I think that Zeus might have had like a brain DDoS or something that previous round as well. Just jumping through the smoke. He was so far off. Oh, I think so. I had that this morning.
Well,
I was lagging
JW
behind quite a bit.
opening things up. I think we've all been there at times. I definitely have. Now, JW, look how aggressive he's feeling, and when he's landing shots like that, why not? He knows he's up against Tech-9s, and it could be risky when there's Tech-9s, but again, just all smokes this time, no flashes. So even though they've got Tech-9s, they can't rush on through any smokes.
Yeah, yeah. I'm actually not quite sure what. I mean, you can use the smoke just take over a part of middle, for example. But when you don't have any flashes, at least one.
Oh, there's a dink onto Flusher, but he manages to get the spray down Guardian. JW now comes around. He is not missing those shots today, is he? Flusher gets himself a second as well. Looking very straightforward for Fnatic. They don't seem to be breaking a sweat in these rounds, and now they've all managed to rescue themselves a couple of Tech-9s as well. But Na'Vi finally going to get that AWP on the board for Guardian. Let's see if he manages to make better use of it than he did before. There's going to be hopefully no Crims.
Before, I think this is the first time he hasn't upped this game, and it's well needed because right now he hasn't really done that much throughout the first 5 rounds of the game. So getting the up on Guardian now is crucial.
JW is headed over towards B this time. Did try and go for that opening shot, and he's going to make it again. Switching things up, keeping Na'Vi guessing, and that leaves Seized Guardian, the lone 2 peeking there. And again, Na'Vi have to slow things down. They lost that man early on, and this is a big problem for them early in the rounds.
Yeah, I mean, especially since Na'Vi likes to play very slow, and losing the first entry there, it's not that great for him, especially when you do have the op on Guardian. He's the one that's supposed to be taking the duels for you in the beginning here.
And he's trying to get a scope on towards Spools. Nobody there. olofmeister's switched his position to bounce him. JW's made the rotate. Edwards in Boiler trying to cause problems. He's going to pop out straight towards JW, who's holding the angle, unfortunately. Was getting flashed up, so buys times for Edward to get out, mate. Is this enough of a distraction to pull him away from B-side? olofmeister's backed himself towards CT spawn, but not left just yet, and I think he just got a glimpse around of Seized while we see JW holding the angle. Now they know. JW Flusher making the rotate straight down Speedway. Flame is going to be the first man through. He's going to get a glimpse in there, but not before Crims takes him clean out. olofmeister pops out, takes Guardian down, sees through the smoke. Will get one down with a little help from Crims there. But, well, that is about all they're going to get now. Seized left in no man's land, and olofmeister gets himself another triple kill. 6-0. Fnatic are looking dominant here. It is the CT side. We shouldn't get too carried away with the score. Of course, we did see 11-4 turnaround over, but this is a tactical pause from Na'Vi, and this is what we've seen work many times. Can Zeus's magic pay off?
Yeah, and a lot of teams out there, they use their timeout way too late. Being down only 6-0 now, Na'Vi choosing to use their timeout now, that's great, because it gives them so many more rounds to work with when they can actually talk about it. So basically right now, what will they talk about? Well, obviously the first thing that comes to mind is JW. He's just running around. But from what we've seen so far, he's been out banana, he pushed apartments, and he's also peaked mid. So basically, he's been everywhere. How do you stop that? Well, you either take control of banana a little bit at a time. Use one of the smokes, just take over, you smoke off car, or you smoke off the opening, so you get control of that, just map control. Or you go second mid and you take over one side of the middle. You can even try to peek him towards Arch if you want. Use the smoke towards quad, just get some initial map control.
Well, I mean, that's it. You just mentioned the fact that Smoke's toward quads. They haven't even got
done
into
anything.
A site. They've
Yeah.
not even touched the pit yet.
Exactly.
Pronax is sat there with just 2 kills because he's bored at the back. He's not seeing any action back there right now
Yeah.
because they've not been able to get through. The one time they go apartments, well, hey, JW is there once again with his AWP.
Yeah, and one thing to also counter that, so let's say you're thinking, well, JW, he might be pushing apartments this round. You can actually go very fast in apartments. Have 3 guys second mid, one of the guys just waits and flashes in boiler, the other 2 just rushes apartments trying to get a hold of him.
Well, we'll see what they do. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Round 7 underway. JW going for yet another peek and seemingly has full control of middle. Nobody challenging him. Nobody dare look. He's taken heads off many times, just waiting in that pit. So now we do see Edward and Flamey are in apartments. So they have control of apartments. So maybe Pronax will get tested for the first time in the game so far. JW's made the move. He's got himself into quad. So he's covering off just under tiny balcony, which Anders has coined. it's an interesting name for it. We'll see whether it comes into play. Pronax sees that shot. He's going to pop flash himself out. Does manage to catch Flamey with a flash, but cleverly backed away. But you can see them stacking out. They're all coming this way. Now Flusher's over in CT Arch. Olofmeister and Krim still over on B side. So a lot of pressure on the in-game leader this time as he drops back into pit. JW's got him to cover. He's going to get across in towards site. Flusher moves around as well. Everybody in position, but Zeus will find the first. Pronax in position to get himself a second. Olofmeister on the rotate. Pronax finds a man in graveyard, but he can't deal with the 2. Coming on balcony now, a 2-on-2. The B site defense. Olofmeister and Krim's made their way around. Spray down not managing to land. Edward's going to get the bomb plant down. This is really the first time they've managed to make any dent on the A site. And now the retake. It's going to come. And Olofmeister's not going to be able to work his magic this time around. Edward will find him, and this could be the first round for Na'Vi. Plenty of time for Krims to wait for someone to peek. Will the Na'Vi be impatient? Will they look? As he creeps his way around. Oh, that's an easy one on Edward. Now he knows the last man's in pit, but he looks the wrong direction. It was a 50-50 choice. And luckily for Flamey, it works in his favor. 6-1 Na'Vi finally on the board.
Yeah, and that time might seem to have worked out. They just took it slow again, but they actually had apartments control this round. And they went in a location where JW's AWP will not be as effective. You saw him over there on quad, peeking middle, and then by the time they started smoking off, he just Molotov the boiler room and backed up towards the bomb site, and then he just got sandwiched by the Na'Vi players jumping down from pit. So
JW again, though, quite happy to look down mid. No challenge coming. No orbs, just simple AKs. And somebody gonna have some very huge cojones to try and challenge him out right now because he is landing those shots. Flusher's with him in the support. It was Zeus that was shoulder peeking, but he's going to go back and collect himself the bomb. And again, Guardian this time. Going to get a little look around there. Edward and Flamey again taking control. And this is what we talked about before over and overpass. If they find a tactic that works, stick to it.
yeah,
Because nothing had been working so far in this match.
yeah, exactly. But you see here, look at the Na'Vi players' HP and compared to Fnatic's. There's a lot of initial damage coming in for the Na'Vi players.
And there's a change. There's a JW creeping into apartments. He's going to flash himself out, and he might actually catch them this time, but the shot doesn't land. Goes for a second cheeky peek. That's a little naughty. And then third flash goes in there, but not able to find it. Drops down, waits for Zeus to come around the corner, but doesn't land the shot. And that's going to cause them problems now, because they're going to start pushing on towards it. Pronax still on balcony, and the support of Flusher and Olofmeister is there. Pronax still not cleared out of balcony, and that's bought all the time they need. If Flusher gets around perfectly, and Guardian and co just cut down in tracks this time. Fnatic were very much prepared for the second time.
Yeah, they were, and Na'Vi just leaving B completely open, so Olofmeister just decided to rotate back to A very fast on the rotate. And then for Na'Vi, they took quite a bit of time when they actually started pushing towards the site. So, and with a good positioning of Pronax in the apartments and JW on the bomb site, there was really nothing they could do. It needs to go a little bit faster when they do decide to execute.
All right, pistols at dawn. Let's see where Na'Vi going to go. It's going to be a speedy rush into a site. JW actually missing 3 shots onto Flamey down the bottom there. And they're actually going to give up a little bit of mid control. Still no shots landed. Just a little tagging back and forth. Guardian taken down to 17. JW, oh, that's the bomb carrier, and he's been smoked off as well. That's just about when things are not going your way, even in a pistol round, that's your luck.
Yeah, I mean, one thing they could do here, they're on save anyway. Bombs down up mid. Just push B. Get the weapon.
Yeah, you're going to hope that the guy's down to 1, which we can see on the minimap it is. It's just Crims alone. But he's managed to smoke that off. Sit ready and waiting. Oh, look at this. They're all stacked. Triple stack at CT Arch.
Yeah.
JW, Flusher, and Olofmeister.
It's going to be a party.
This is just going to be a mow down as soon as they come around the corner. No flashes for them, no smokes left. They're just going to run straight into the crosshairs. There's the spray down. Olofmeister triple. Couldn't get cleaner than that.
Yeah, very solid. I mean, again, Zeus. Brain DDoS. I'll go first, guys. No worries. I have bomb.
That's you're going with a Ukrainian accent.
I'll try. I'm fairly sure that I failed miserably.
Well, you know, Swedish guy in English doing Ukrainian. You're allowed to get away with it. If I'd done it, I'd be in a bit of trouble. But we're gonna stick with that. Here we go. It's gonna be a 4-man stack for Fnatic over on A site. So they may be reading in something into Na'Vi here. They know it's gonna probably be a Tech-9 pile. That's risky play because a quick Tech-9 pile through on Crims could have caused problems. But look at JW in apartments once again. He's got the support of Pronax as well. So he's just pushing right round into the face, but now he's in trouble, and that's the risk of the situation. But are they going to expect Pronax in bedroom here? You can see Edward crouched just on the balcony. And that grenade, actually, that's very clever. That's a clever grenade from Olofmeister, because that's sort of faking out Pronax is there. Oh, and he manages to get away. Footsteps will be heard, but it doesn't matter. He's away scot-free, back off the back into pit.
And Guardian did get you off, though. Again, he's the one that should be getting some peaks here.
So, Edward. Not a great deal of utility for Na'Vi, but they have it in them to 4-man stack, because you can see Fnatic, they've had to go 2-2. Now, Flusher, starting to make the rotate. Olofmeister already there on site. But it's going to be a fake. Look at Na'Vi. Clock running at 30 seconds. Now, if Crims have got anything to slow them down, this could cause some serious problems. They're going to rush on in there. I think they've just tossed the smoke out. Flash goes in. They are going to smoke off CT this time around. It's all on Crims. He gets the first entry. Can he get the second? Siege comes around. That flash working perfectly in his favor. Doesn't manage to get the spray down on Siege, and Siege will manage to clear him out with the Tech-9, but Flusher already in position. Guardian has to collect the bomb. He's going to go for the plant. Zeus will come out on top. Now it's Olofmeister and Pronax. They're coming from different angles. Olofmeister will find one, and it's just the one-man Zeus. 16 hit points, M4 in hand. He has to try and slow things down here. Pronax already on, sticking on the defuse. It's going to find. Oh my God, the miss almost on Olofmeister. And that's actually pulled Pronax off the defuse. And that's beautiful, because now Zeus can wait around. He's holding it, he's sticking it, and well, he pulled away and went straight back on it with the kit. Zeus still yet to find him. And that's, well, tragic, unfortunately, for Na'Vi.
Yeah, and I mean, for Zeus' part there, 16 HP, he had to take a gamble. Obviously now, Pronax just stuck it and ended up winning the round. But it's a little bit of a shame there for Na'Vi. They did have the smokes and stuff. They got into the B-bomb side. A little bit untimed. They had one guy just jumping in. Crims got the first one, and then by that time, Flusher was already there, and Olofmeister flanked him extremely fast. So
JW's made the move over towards B again. He's even going to get a little peek. Saw a glimpse of Flamey's head there. Didn't manage to land the shot, though. Those grenades just catching him at his feet. They may challenge him. They should catch him out here. They will. Now, are they going to expect the cheeky little man in the corner? It's Pronax who's made their way over towards B site. That was all based off a spawn and a gut feeling, I feel. Crims now trying to slow them down. Will pop himself a smoke to cover his position as he tries to get out. It didn't quite block him off completely, but they've slowed themselves down. Oh, look at this. They're expecting Seized in the corner. Flusher working his magic. And now Flamey, Guardian and Edward still yet to get in on site. Crims has done a wonderful job of delaying them here. Olofmeister still tentatively working his way and staking around A site because they haven't really shown their hand yet. But now with that flash coming across, it will catch them out. And now they have site control. Flusher making his way in. Olofmeister coming up banana. Flusher just deliberately delaying, waiting for Olofmeister to get in position as he checks every angle as he come around. But Na'Vi have a good hold here. They have a triangle set up. Every angle covered off. Guardian, you can see over in Emo, trying to cover off, or Dark, whichever you prefer to call it, whichever side of the pond you're from. But that's a great retake from Fnatic. Good Lord, when you land them shots, there's not a lot Na'Vi can do.
yeah, no, and Olofmeister just accidentally finding one more HE grenade. You just toss into there and just blow up Guardian. Yeah, it was it was looking good so far. I was gonna say, I was like,
They
great.
finally managed to crack the nut, yeah.
And then just Fnatic just proves me otherwise, and yeah, great retake.
Although, unfortunately for Navi, that was really only down to JW going aggressive that they managed to crack it open. Pronax actually going over to B site as well, which is obviously he's normally sitting on balcony. But 10-1, Fnatic, very good CT half. It is entirely possible to come back from, but they're going to have to get themselves a couple of rounds more on the board here. We already saw Fnatic going 14-1 against eBettle earlier today. And JW, once again, another little flick on towards Zeus. Creates a great opportunity for Fnatic to make it 11-1.
Yeah, and Navi's not having a great time. Just not getting anything done. JW just walking around doing whatever he wants. Obviously, Olofmeister stable as always, and it's not pretty right now. And the way the Fnatic's playing, they seem unstoppable.
They certainly are looking that way. They're one of the few teams that have had any hiccups so far. And, you know, we were looking at, obviously, the eBettle game and saying, yeah, that's what we expected. But if they were to do the same to Na'Vi right now, that is a gigantic statement to everybody in this tournament.
Yeah, for sure. And don't get me wrong, I mean, it's a T-side on Inferno, and it's one of the harder...
and one of their best maps.
Play, and one of the best maps. So don't get me wrong, like, Na'Vi can still come back from this. But
Pronax, nobody saw that. It's all right. There's only like 800k watching. Everybody out there right now is thinking, see, I do the same thing. I try and throw that grenade, it doesn't play. Pronax does manage to make up for it with a kill. Flusha getting all the assists this time around. It's 11-1, ladies and gentlemen. Fnatic are absolutely devastatingly good right now. Isn't that the best position to be in? Devilwalk formerly sat there behind them as the coach, you know. Your team's 11-1 up. Just like, I don't need to do a thing.
yeah, I mean, I'm just. What am I supposed to do? He's just chilling,
scratching his head.
Yeah.
It's so good. This
thinking about what he's gonna eat later.
You're Swedish. You only just eat meatballs, don't you?
Oh, that is true. There is actually an IKEA very close.
Yeah, there is just around the corner.
I heard that they actually booked a cab for that later.
Guardian going straight into apartments, actually straight up mid and into apartments. This is a fast round from Na'Vi and it's paying off. Guardian gets himself a double in towards site. This is what they maybe needed to do. Switch things up, quicken it up, get the bomb plant down. They have a 5-man site take. Krims, Flusha and Olofmeister all trying to find a kill. Olaf might find himself a very easy one here. Is he going to go for it? Oh, dear.
BM.
Dear. It's not BM. It's a lot of money. He's in need of the cash
How
right
much
now.
money does he have? He has 14.5k. I need some more. Okay, fair enough.
You never know.
Meatballs are expensive, apparently, in Sweden. Or in Germany.
Oh, Krims tries to go for the spray down. Flusha and Olaf just on the exits here, and what exits they're going to find. Flusha will get himself a double. It's not going to be any rifles left. They're even going to track down Flamey and Pitt at the end here. They know he's around. He's just going to stay. No, they still got him as well. So they got every rifle away. 11-2 Na'Vi do pick up the round. They quicken up the pace, but at the cost of just about their economy. They can afford to buy themselves up a couple of Galils and AKs, but that is still... I mean, that's kind of what Na'Vi have to do. They have to switch things up now. It's seemingly anything they need to try out because Fnatic has their number.
Yeah, for sure. And being 11-2 down with an extremely low buy, even though they won the round, they have to try something.
Oh, Krims getting one down the spray down, but Guardian, seemingly the man that's turned into the entry fragger here, picking up the AK and just taking it into his own hands. But look at JW, rushing straight down the bottom of mid, flicks around the corner, gets himself seized. And Guardian looking to try and flash him out here. Might go for himself a second, goes for the quick scope, not going to work. Guardian does get another. Seems to be stepping in. Oh, are they going to expect Pronax sitting at the bench? I don't think they will.
It's so smart by Pronax. He actually removed the silencer so it doesn't show the weapon.
Very clever play, but unfortunately for him, they're not coming this way. Zeus has gone up second mid. Guardian is now actually making his way around. Zeus is going to get a glimpse of him. I think he just saw him. Yes, he did, but doesn't matter. Pronax will get the shot down. He's going to flash himself out. Guardian will get caught out, but that Molly on top of the AK will get himself third kill of the round. Flamey smoking off CT, pushing on. Olofmeister all on his own at the moment on site. Oh, not quite able to land the shot on Flamey. Will get himself the second. Guardian pushing in. Can he make it 4 in a row as Olafmeister comes around? Yes, he can. Taking the game into his own hands. He's got the smoke down, so he's covered off just about from flusha. Could make it the ace here to take a round for Na'Vi, and he absolutely needs to do this. They need somebody to step up and shine. Doesn't get the tap down, though. flusha will close it out and shut down the hopes and dreams of Na'Vi fans everywhere. And he's got all the time in the world for the defuse. It's going to be 12-2.
Yeah, and I feel so bad for Guardian. He's doing everything for that team right now. Just, okay, you guys can't entry, I'll go and do that. You guys can't get a bomb site, okay, I'll do that for you guys. Do Guardian have to, like, get 5 kills every round for them to win? It was the same. The round that they won, the round number 2 that they won, he was the one getting the 2 entries again, opening up the site completely. I do believe it. I'm pretty sure he got 2 initial frags on the first round that he won as well.
Well, this is the situation that you were talking about previous matchup. You know, when you're on that final round of the half, you don't want to be down to a loose economy, and Tech9s is all they've got. Those grenades actually both landing perfectly. Olafmeister gets himself in the corner of sandbags, but he will be taken down. Krims does buy enough time. Flash is going down, smokes go down, Krims sprays down another. This time flusha is in support. He's going to try and catch around the corner. Flamey, well, the barbecue pit's not the place for a flame to be, it seems, as Zeus does go through construction. JW's with him. Guardian, again, left alone in Banana. Zeus not going to be able to find Krims, unfortunately. And now with the bomb at barbecue, flusha will find him. 13-2. It is a monstrous CT side from Fnatic, looking to try and make it 3 in a row. Well, 2 in a row, technically. 3 in total.
And I mean, the way that the Fnatic has been playing amazing this whole half, not really letting Na'Vi do what they normally do, and you can tell on the way that Navi's playing, they didn't have an answer for it, just ending up just walking a 5-man stack everywhere and just trying to get some initial picks and hitting the bomb sites. But at the end of the day, when you play a team like Fnatic, you can't do that. It's never going to work because they have so many strong individual players. So even if you do get the initial entry frag and you decide to go fast, you saw how fast flusha was there helping Krims out every single time stuff went down over at the B bomb site.
Oh, Guardian on the screen there. Going to have to make a big impact like JW did. And the CT side here, 13 rounds is the posted score for Fnatic. It is possible. I'm not saying it's undoable, but it is a real challenge, especially when your opposition is Fnatic. We have seen crazier turnarounds, but I've got to be honest, I'm not expecting it this time around. And the fact that Na'Vi, if you look at historically their score against Fnatic, certainly over the last couple of months, you think back to DreamHack, Fragbite, they've just had their number every single time.
Yeah. I mean, the way that Fnatic's playing, they match up really well against Na'Vi. You would think otherwise, since Na'Vi is a very slow-paced team. They're supposed to be really good against aggressive teams. That's why whenever Na'Vi plays Virtus Pro, it's a really good matchup. Same with Na'Vi and NIP when they used to be even more aggressive. Because the whole idea of playing slow is to make sure that you can't push towards them. But Na'Vi or Fnatic does such a great job in helping each other out, making sure that, yeah, okay, we don't necessarily have to push every round, but when we do so, we make sure that we do get the payout for it and get the entries.
Well, we'll see how it works out for them. I got to be honest, body language-wise, when a player has the head rested on a hand, it tells me a lot. And Flamey pretty much had his head down the whole way through Zeus's speech there, his general, motivational halftime rousing to try and get them back on the board. Pistol is everything for Na'Vi right now. I know I say it a lot, but this time around it really means it. Now, Na'Vi often go aggressive on their pistol. This time around a little bit more respectful, but we are seeing Guardian and Flamey go really quick around the back here. Now they could catch them. Second mid is where Fnatic are all piling around. They are just going to go full on aggressive. Here comes Flamey from behind, but they're too late. Edward's just being rushed on down, and flusha and Krims are straight in their face. Now where will they take it? Seized and Flamey got themselves back around on towards A's site, but immediately a quick head bang straight on Seized will take him down. Flamey dropped, and now Guardian, well, it is all on him once again. It's seemingly a broken record that I'm having to say. flusha, little peek in pit. Olafmeister with him. Krims on site. I don't even think a position in Moto is going to save him. Olafmeister get the headshot. 14-2 could easily become 16-2.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not that much to say. Na'Vi still trying to play their own game and having 2 players push up Banana and peeking 3 guys in middle, but Fnatic's just outmatching them right now, left and right, outgunning them. You know, everyone's hitting their shots, and there's not really anything Na'Vi can do at this point.
Well, they've gone for
I
head
basically gave up for them.
You've given up for them. Well, they have gone for head armor, majority, along with the pistols. So, you know, against Mac 10s, it's quite a wise choice. I think they were probably expecting the Mac Daddies coming towards them, but Guardian and Zeus in the corner here being challenged, but whoa, when JW is on point, he just runs on through. Neon spray down is what's happening right now, and Fnatic are just lighting up Na'Vi everywhere across the map. The challenge from Long is not going to work out. Seas does rescue something, but look at this. JW just running on through. Can he make it 4 in a row? It's Flamey that's down the bottom. Oh, that nade's coming. Uh-oh. There we go. Olafmeister on the noggin of Flamey. 15-2. This is a whitewash.
Yeah. Yeah, I have no words.
I mean, I expected a decent performance from Fnatic. There's no doubt about it, but I was expecting Na'Vi to be a bit closer. You know, this rings true to, obviously, Katowice. They were in the same group together at the same time, and of course, Olafmeister started things off with a plum there with, I think it was 12 kills in 3 rounds, running riot with that Tech 9, and that set the tone for the whole matchup. I think JW did something similar in this one, really just locking them down. And if you look across the kill board, 23 for Olafmeister, 22 for Flusher, everybody on point. Pronax has been pretty bored back in, on B side, so he's probably looking to try and get something here on the T side. But when his team are playing this well, even as an in-game leader, you don't really need to say a great deal. It's just like, get kills, guys. It's working.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the only thing he's been saying. It's like, JW, what do you want to do? You know, I'll push here. It's fine.
It would be nice to have the power at that hands. I think every in-game leader would be happy with that. Olafmeister finds himself another as he pushes around the corner there. JW challenging out, seized from Long, but it is just a couple of pistols. Deagles, Guardian with a P250. Now Guardian's actually going to go for the challenge as well. He's going to look around the corner. He's going to find himself Flusher. He has to run through flames as well, but it's A site that they're going to go towards. Seized in the corner. JW running down Speedway, expecting to catch them as they trying to make the rotation. Crims, Pronax all pushing in on site as Seized single-handedly tries to keep them at bay. A Deagle, a Dream, and that is about all it will be. Flamey single tap down. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. It was all too easy for Fnatic. 16-2 as they absolutely decimate the opposition in their groups. They're going to be going through quarterfinals, and everybody in this tournament will want to avoid that quarterfinal clash. Nobody wants to face them right now.
Oh yeah, no, for sure not. And just basing off of what we actually throughout the day, because obviously this was the last game of today, we do have the favorites in each respective group going through to the quarterfinals, which is great to see. Not really any upsets happening that jeopardize the fact that we do have, like I said, the favorites going through.
And I can tell you that's now like a danger sign for everyone out there, because Titan are actually going to get moved to a different group.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to want Titan moving into that group.
Oh no, for sure not. And
I mean, you look towards the likes of NIP, the Titan could be joining in that group.
Yep.
You don't know, anything could be happening. That will, of course, all be found out later on today. But overall, I mean, what will teams be thinking now, right now, looking at Fnatic? Obviously, you know, these are 2 devastating performances. We can't read too much into eBettle, maybe. And also, this was the CT side on Inferno, which is a very good map, if not their best map, or certainly one of the best teams in the world on Inferno. Do we overread into this, or do we think, good God, these are looking just amazing?
I mean, the thing is, what teams should be looking at, especially if you end up matching up against them in the quarterfinal, look at how TSM plays versus Fnatic. They obviously have an answer for how Fnatic plays. Yeah. You know, for the past few tournaments, TSM has beat them again and again. So they do have the answer. No one else seems to have that. So instead of just watching Fnatic, trying to figure out what to do, watch TSM play Fnatic, and you can figure out what TSM does, right?
It's not always that easy, though.
It's that easy.
I think a lot of teams in the world may well have figured that out by now, but seeing and doing are very, very different things, it seems.
No one's smart enough to do that. They're like, okay, we're gonna watch every single demo of Fnatic, but we won't watch the team that beats them from time to time, or every single time for the past few tournaments.
Well, it has been a fantastic day, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get over towards the analyst desk for one last time tonight to take us through and speak to Fnatic.
And indeed, I mean, one person very happy after that matchup. It is going to be Olofmeister here joining us again after your win. And now we can say now cruising to the groups, not just your first match, making it look easy as you come in and take that winner spot from Group C, securing your spot in the playoffs. I mean, okay, earlier we asked, all right, well, how do you do it? I mean, you're the best player in the world, et cetera. We just sang praises of you and your team, but I mean, we could repeat that again. We could just rerun that interview again. How are you guys feeling after that match?
We feel good, really good. It feels like, it feels like it's major, and we're playing for the major.
I mean, do you expect going forward that, if we continue playing like this, do you credit that a lot to your own strengths, or are you like, well, maybe some of it we got lucky, some parts of it you're still going to keep it, pretty tense. You're not sure about how the other teams are going to perform against you. Obviously, you've only played against 2 teams so far.
Yeah, well, the Viru system at the majors kind of favors the high seed. So we could pick side, and on Inferno it's like a big advantage to start at CT.
Right.
And I think that's a part of us winning this game, but I don't know. It's a big advantage because we can play a lot more, how do you say it, comfortable on T side, and we know that we only need like 3 runs.
Just 3 rounds, no big deal.
What's funny?
It's like
Nothing if you're on Fnatic. It's great. If you're not on Fnatic, it's not.
If you start T side and you get 3 rounds on your T side and then switch, are you comfortable with those 3 and from the first half?
No, but like because we had
Right.
13-2, so we knew that we only need 3 runs, and we got 15 runs to do it in, and
Yeah.
Right.
that's why I think it's a big advantage.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. That starting on that CT, that's huge. I mean, it's like whenever I watch you guys on Inferno with you and Crims just locking down B, it comes down a lot to JW can be himself, just be super aggressive over at A, and if he's being that effective and he funnels them right into you guys over at B, like it's just crazy. It almost feels like you guys just cut that map in half, like right from the start.
Yeah, well, I think like it's not only me, Crims, and JW. I think everyone in our team does their part. I don't like being called the best player in the world because I think I have the best team in the world, and it's easy to be good in the best team in the world. So like everyone in our team can be the best player in the world. Period.
Right.
Were you expecting more out of Na'Vi? I feel like we've seen much better performances from them on Inferno, and I was maybe expecting just a little bit more. I mean, in the past, have you guys had a rougher time playing them on this particular map?
Well, of course we were expecting more from them, but like I think this is the first time in I don't even remember how long we got a break for 3 weeks and we could practice. Like it does a lot to your team, and like you can fix small things that affect the game huge. So I think I think we're playing better, but of course we were expecting more from Na'Vi.
Right on. All right. Well, once again, congratulations. Of course, you playing that last match and now securing your spot in the playoffs. We'll be seeing you play in the Lanxess Arena, as I'm sure many would have liked to see. So that all pans out for all your fans out there. And now we will. You guys have a little bit of a break and get to prepare for the playoffs. Meanwhile, let's take a review on how Day 1 panned out for all of our other teams, because, of course, we got a little bit more of an update coming for you. You guys have to stay tuned for the reshuffle that's happening. So let's start with Group A. In Group A, we do have TSM, who will be moving on from that winner's match. They take down NIP in a pretty convincing one-sided fashion score-wise, and showing people that, all right, well, we're still here to play it as the major. And as they said in their interview, you got to win a major to even consider being called the best in the world. Meanwhile, we have the Renegades and NIP left in that group. Counterlogic Gaming will be shuffled out. And then moving on to Group B, we'll take a look there. We'll just go back-to-back between these groups, make a quick update for you guys. Envious going through a little bit of a tough time against Luminosity, but still going to be that favorite that most people might have expected from Group B. Meanwhile, Quinguin having a tough time against Luminosity, and they're down in the lower bracket, and they will actually be the one that's being shuffled out. In Group C, we'll take a look at that bracket, how that panned out. We just saw that last match, of course, with Fnatic now moving on with their 2 wins. Na'Vi still sticking around in Group C, and it will be Titan who gets shuffled out, as they had played Na'Vi earlier. and they will go into a different group. eBettle still has to battle through a newcomer in the group, and then Na'Vi, if they win the first one, to have a shot at going to the brackets. And Group D, the last group, we of course saw that matchup right before, but VP going forward. Cloud9 putting up a good fight, taking down Mouse Sports, but as we discussed here on the desk, just still not finding that answer against VP. They'll stick around in this group, and it does look like then Mouse Sports will actually get shuffled into another group. So we'll have that updated after the broadcast. So those guys who are interested, those brackets will be updated. The shuffle will be happening afterwards officially, and we'll get to see some new matchups tomorrow. At least no repeats in terms of the actual matchups. Overall, though, day one, how's it all kicking off? I mean, people were saying could be the most competitive major we've had to date. Would you agree with that so far from what we've seen from the teams?
Yeah, I would go that far to say. I mean, we have the top 4 that have made it through pretty handily, right? The favorites in the groups, no discussion there.
Right.
The tier 2, I guess if you want to call it, right, or the bottom rank of the top 10, they are definitely showing that they're capable of making the tier 1 work. You know, just like we saw with Envy, right? They had a battle to get through that group. So, you know, there's still potential for upset, but as far as the first day is concerned, everything has gone according to plan. We're going to have a potential repeat championship title here for Fnatic. They're looking like, you know, they're set to take it. They're looking pretty good. And the rest of the 3, right, that have made it through, all contenders. So it's going to be a real pleasure. The next 3 days are going to be wonderful.
All right. Well, sounds great. Looks like we have a lot to look forward to, ladies and gentlemen. We continue tomorrow here at the MMC Studios with the rest of the group stages. All of them will be happening here on the main stream. We'll be going through the elimination matches and then the decider matches. Of course, again, the groups will be updated with the reshuffle happening. One team from each group getting shuffled out into one of the other groups. If you missed any of our matches, feel free. Please go ahead to the Score Esports. Download the app, the iOS App Store or Google Play. You get to see all the match updates, some of their pieces here, previewing, of course, a lot of these teams, including the quarterfinalists from the last major, the top 8, the legends coming in to ESL One Cologne, so you can get a little bit of update on that. We'll see you guys tomorrow 2 hours earlier than we started today here at the MMC Studios for ESL One Cologne.